I think the players are ready to go, so we'll move down to our feature match here. Of course, this is match number 4 of season 2 of MTGO Masters. We're going to have a little look at the opening hands momentarily. Who do you think would be favored on this? Like heads up, you've seen both deck lists. Who do you think? Which deck do you think's favored?
I'll just root for the deck that's most out of left field, which is easily Rebel Lily's take on Affinity here. So I'm on Team Affinity here.
All right, cool. You've said it. Let's go with it. Look at these opening hands. We do have a Tamio, so of course that can make some early treasure tokens, which can help Affinity out some of these Frogmites and Fort Mentors to keep turning a button for a deck. Over on Doomwake's side, we've got a couple of land. We've got some early interaction with a Prism, which of course can target anything, not just a creature. Then we've got Raptors, Fables, Phlages, kind of all-round good stuff, but does have a Surveil land as well in there. Talk to me about Surveil lands and kind of what impact that they have in your testing in Modern. Do we have to play one in every single deck, or can we get some decks that don't really get value from it?
So I would say very close to it. That is the case. Surveillance just makes sure that, like, whenever you put a card in the graveyard with a Surveil land, it feels like you drew an extra card just off of your mana base. Of course, we can see the tempo loss being relevant sometimes, but here, as you see, as an example from Doomwake's POV, it was just strictly an upgrade to a normal land. So, yeah, I really like that addition. I love that they're fetchable. They even see play all the way to Vintage these days.
It looks like Doom was on a mold to 6 there. We see the Phlage go to the bottom of his deck when, as you say, semi-drawing a card by being able to put that fetch land into the graveyard. Here comes Raptor into Nightmare, gaining 3 more energy moving forward. No creatures in the graveyard yet, so we can't take full advantage of it as we pass turn back to Rebel.
Right, and this is not maybe the best matchup for Nightmare. Nightmare, when you have Nightmare in your deck, you want to play against a deck with a ton of removal spells, discard spells, etc. But I'm excited to see if Doomwake can still make good use of it.
I think it's more like the later the game goes. Do you think this is going to be a later matchup, or do you think that this game is going to be won pretty quickly, which we come kind of accustomed to when we see Nadu floating around?
Yeah, so the Boros deck is thankfully constructed to, prolong the game. That's kind of what the deck does. Like, you see a lot of these Static Prison, Thought Seizes, Bowmasters, all of this that kind of is trying to throw a wrench into the opposition's plans. So hopefully we can see this go to a later turn.
His Thoughtseize, that's going to get the Karamchandani out of here. Don't want that big thing hitting the battlefield. Very hard to get off the battlefield once it is on.
Yeah, that would have resolved next turn. So very timely Thoughtseize from the top of Doomwake's deck.
What are your thoughts on Tamio? Of course, that's the Planeswalker the deck's built around. So one of the stipulations. Does this really shine since MH3 has come out?
Yeah, I would say so. Tamio is a multi-format all-star. It's good in Modern. Simply, so just attacking with it's good, but it's also like just blocking stuff like this could be like block Raptor, block Ragavan. It bricks a lot of stuff. And if you ever get some breathing room and you get to flip it, then you can just win the game by not doing anything. The opponent has to make a move. So yeah, that card offers a lot across a lot of formats. I even play the card in Legacy these days. So very, very nice card.
Yeah, that's a great. Of course, 0-3. So no damage actually getting done from these combat. The combat phase where we turn it sideways. We're just generating clues, which are artifacts, which do turn on Affinity, and that is the name and the sake of the deck. Yep. We did go a card deeper by cracking that clue and getting an Urza's Saga on the battlefield as discharge drawn for Doomwake.
Yeah, and worth noting, a Static Prison was played a little bit earlier to take care of the Shuko, to basically make sure that Nadu from the top of Rebel Lily's deck just doesn't, completely go off. So nice proactive maneuver there from Doomwake.
A bit of block action here. 2 points of damage dealt, and I think the follow-up play might be this Fable. Yep, it's happened 3. Fable the Mirror Break going to come down. We know what this can do. What doesn't it do is the actual thing you need to ask yourself. It makes a token. It gets rid of bad cards. Gets us draw more cards. Flips into a Kiki Jiki effect. So good in so many different formats. Looks like we gained the city's blessing.
Oh yeah, the blessing of the city here. So now a lot of tokens are put onto the battlefield, and pressure is really on Rebel Lily to find, I would say, an unfair way to win this game, because the fair way looks like Doomwake has that all dominated.
I'm trying to work out how did we get it triggered? Because we get double tokens with double tokens. Okay, that's such a cool play. That's such a cool line by Doomwake there. Rebel's really struggling to find something here, though.
Yeah, after the very nice start, the Thoughtseize was annoying, the Static Prison was annoying, and then redundant Legends of Tameo and a bunch of lands just not going to get there against S tier draw from Doomwake's energy deck.
Yeah, it is definitely. I suppose we can make a construct token here. It will be currently a 4/4 with the ability to make it up to a 5/5 if we activate the factory as well. Discharge in hand, so we do have that plus. Like how much energy we got? We can have 6 energy from that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Doomwake's firing on all cylinders here. Oh, and here we see a Nightmare activation. This is what we came to see, Will.
I'm very happy about this. I told you how much I like Nightmare. I think the cards. Don't get me wrong. I was doing it with Fulminating Mages against Tron opponents at the weekend, and I felt so big brain by doing it. Not as a powerful in this one here, where we're just being able to get back one of the 1-drops, which doesn't really generate us too much extra energy, but why not? It's cool. We're showing off the new MH3 cards. That's exactly what we want to be doing here at MTGO Masters. As everything gets turned sideways, a couple of treasure tokens, and maybe we start putting some +1/+1 counters on creatures.
Yeah, some good options here with the trigger of Guide of Souls. Also, basically, the Mardu energy deck is more or less MH3 block constructed. I was about to say so many nice MH3 cards that come together to this just well-rounded puzzle. I really enjoy that deck as an archetype. It's exactly my kind of Magic. You get a lot of game actions. You try and prolong the game, pick your spots. Am I the aggressor? Am I supposed to defend? And yeah, hopefully get into some cool on grind fest like the one I had against Arya.
I think it was actually the first deck I picked up or post mod MH3. I think I picked up MH3 money pile, so to speak. So I had like Sorens in there and the Ajanis and
Right.
Plages and all this sort of good stuff. And again, a million game actions felt really, really great. Now everything's get turned sideways. A couple of counters have been thrown around. We've now going to generate a construct token. That is going to be a 4/4 because there are 4 artifacts on the battlefield currently. But we have got a nice little trick if we want to get that factory to be growing a little bit bigger. But Doom, what do you think about this? About Doom deciding to let her block with one of these?
I was about to mention that the treasures easily allowed Doomwake to just kill that 4/4. And the way that discharge is worded, you can never get got by the factory activation, so to speak, because you choose upon resolution how much energy you want to spend. So yeah, I was kind of surprised about that.
Oh, we are just generating tokens, which generate energy, which generate +1/+1 counters and flying counters. Is there literally anything Rebel can do right now?
No, because actually Doomwake, I just realized Doomwake slammed the door here by holding the discharge to make sure he doesn't die out of nowhere to Shuko Nadu. So that was actually a very, very good play and something the two of us missed initially.
Oh yeah, I suppose you only die to the bird once, then you can't take it to heart. And the Doomwake has done that more than most, I believe. Looking at the deck list here, we could got options. We could go get a Shadow Spear here. Would that change up any of this math?
It looks like that Doomwake has so much power on the battlefield that it really doesn't. Also, a cool trick you can do with against the lifelink creature is like block and kill your own creature. I guess trample makes that a bad idea in this specific scenario. So let's save that for another time.
Well, we've got this discharge plus 7 energy plus the 3 makes. Basically, we can kill a 10-powered creature, a toughness creature anyway, at a moment's notice. And I think Rebel's just gonna get anything on the battlefield this turn, just showing how cool the deck is. Did brick a couple of turns where, as you mentioned, Doom.
Yeah, it looks like this Kappa Cannoneer is a few turns too late. So yeah, basically the Thoughtseize on the first one was what really swung this game in Doomwake's favor.
So we're going to turn this sideways, make the clue token. That's going to generate another +1/+1 counter. I'm kind of thinking, like, we know obviously hands. That's great. We know there's a removal spell for Doom. But should we have attacked with Tameo first in case we drew the bird, so we would have been able to cast it that turn as well?
Good question. The thing is, without Shuko, the bird is not anything to write home about. So I'm not sure it would have been nice in this scenario. But in general, you want to draw your cards before making a decision, whether you're holding a cantrip or whatever. So yeah, it's tough to say.
That's like I felt like we set out because we got the Shuko off the there's a saga there. So
Right.
we kind of set up for that turn if we drew it, but you know, it is what it is. It means we're going to go to a game at number 2. Both players get to look at their sideboards, and we get to see how they sideboard as well. It looks like we're just bringing in a bit more, you know, artifact removal and another prisoner.
Yeah, I
on
immediately
Doomwake's
see
side.
the Bowmasters getting cut from Doomwake, which is interesting. So with open deck lists, you basically you can easily tell like how many one toughness creatures are over there. But the thing is, Rebel is actually running quite a few draw spells, so I'm not 100% sure about just cutting the Bowmasters altogether. Maybe it's like some metagame thing where Doomwake expects. Now you see the Mem Knights hits the sideboard, exactly that. The Doomwake's one step ahead and kind of knows that Rebel will adjust because of Bowmasters. So he'll just cut them, kind of like you do with Days and Legacy. So in the actual games, they still have an effect without being there. They're kind of, spooking around in the opponent's mind.
Yeah, a little bit true. And it's kind of that old gameplay aspect of now it is open deck list. Like the mind games happen. Okay, my opponent's got this in there. I think they're going to bring this in. Oh, they think I'm going to bring this in, so I'm actually going to bring this in. And you kind of get that mental chess before you even get down to the second match of what cards did they bring in? Did I bring in the right sideboard in choice? And being a game up here, you're going to be advantaging that because you're going to have a good idea of how your opponent's sideboard if we do go to a game number 3. As both players draw their opening hands, what's your opinion on these?
So we see Arya has Rebel has some off-color sideboard cards like Galvanic Blast and some white cards. So all of a sudden that's gonna ask a bit more of her mana base. But it looks like with Spire of Industry, she's gonna be fine eventually. Also, you can, as you said last game, you can activate the factory and then you have colored mana. But it's a bit awkward here. Double Nadu is fine, a little bit of redundancy against Thoughtseize. Like on Doomwake's side of the table. Looks like we just have a couple of lands. I believe there's a basic plains hiding out behind the Thoughtseize. And so, yeah, if you get your third land on time, that hand is just solid, right? That's what that deck is looking to do. It's not looking for anything in particular. It's looking for a good land spell ratio.
Yeah, it looks like we've kind of, you'd say it looks like we've kind of transitioned into a more controlling game plan for this, but maybe it's just the draw that we're having as we've got a couple of early interactions. Really needing that third land though, as we draw the third copy of Fable the Mirror Breaker. Really good card, but not so good in multiples when they're stuck in your hand.
Oh, definitely. This game will be a lot about whether Doomwake can find the third land on time, and yeah, or as the Saga hits the field for Rebel here. That's just a good card to activate a few times and kind of trade favorably against removal.
Talk to me about this line. Why are we using one of our premium removing spells on a 0/2?
Yeah, so Doomwake kind of realizes if he's gonna make a game out of this, he's gonna draw land and tap out for the next couple of turns. So it's just a good way to use your mana. Also, with the way things are shaping up, maybe that's Rebel's only colored source. I mean, the Spire of Industry, thanks to the Ornithopter, so there is a chance that it's just a good play to negate your opponent colored mana even. So good mana usage and possibly some disruption on top.
We see Doomwake. He was hovering. He was hoping for that land. That land never came. It is an amped Raptor. One of like the premium uncommons that were printed in MH3. I don't know if anybody was really talking about this, but it has quite a really good impact in these Boros / Mardu decks.
Oh yeah, that card is awesome. There is a fail rate to it though, that as you also saw in my match. Like you can flip a card over that is not really useful right now, and then you just end up gaining a couple of energy. But here, if you hit a Thoughtseize, then the world is your oyster.
Well, we know about 3 of the cards. The only one we don't know about is the Shuka, but we are going to take one of these birds straight to the graveyard. That goes. I think end of turn we're going to be making a construct token. Yes, we are. Now, this is the question. What do we do here? Do we make another one and go get ourselves an artifact, or would you like floating mana here?
So it looks like Rebel wants to get going with the Shuko and Nadu here, which makes a lot of sense.
All right, here we go.
Even developing another Saga, which is a cool one because that's like your plan B if Nadu dies on the following turn. But this is going to be a lot of value. Even fetching out Ornithopter with the Saga, the third chapter of the Saga here to have 2 more triggers. This is filthy.
Okay, for anybody that's been living in a cave with the fingers in their ears and the eyes closed for the last couple of weeks, talk me through what is happening right now with Nadu and Suko.
Yeah, so the thing about Nadu is it grants all your creatures the ability that whenever it gets targeted, we get a coiling oracle trigger, which basically means flip the top card. If it's a land, put it into play. If not, put it into our hand. So each creature can be targeted twice by the equipment cost, which is 0. So for each creature, 2 triggers. And the cool thing about this affinity deck is it plays 0 drops like Ornithopter, like Frogmites. So this will be a ton of value, and I would be very surprised if I see Doomwake come back from this.
Right, Tamiyo is going to come down. That's another target for the Shuko, so we get targeted twice, as you said. Double triggers. We see hit 1 more land. And another Fort Mentor. Artifact count 1, 2, 3, 4. So these mentors don't cost 1 just yet.
It looks like I don't want to say bricked, but even with 1 more artifact, we could have played Kappa Cannoneer. But yeah,
we're scooping it up.
That's enough. That's enough for Doomwake here. Doomwake missed the 3rd land drop, and the potency of Nadu and Shuko is not to be underestimated.
Well, as we said, we didn't see a win on the spot there, but we just saw like the amount, just the value it gained. It refilled the hand, put a board state down, and these kind of fair Boros Mardu decks, they can't keep up with that, right? Like it even that S sort of tiered draw that we saw from Doom in game 1 wouldn't really be able to keep up in that scenario because we just got a bunch of 1/1s opposed to these big the big fatties on the other side.
Agree, and I would compare that deck to, let's say, old school Junt in Modern, where if things get out of hand, you're losing the game. So your job is to hope that things doesn't get out of hand, and that's why you play with so much removal spells, discard spells, etc. So, but once the damage is done there, it's over, even though the game didn't end on that exact turn.
Well, very quick, shuffle up and present for both these players. Don't think much sideboarding happened. These are the opening hands. Doomwake will be on the play of this Mardu Energy deck. Has his choice of turn 1 plays. Do you like starting off with the Fortresses or with the cat?
Yeah, generally when I'm playing against a deck that kind of needs a lot of pieces to have its best draws, I'm leaning towards Thoughtseize. Let's say I'm playing against a deck with lots of redundant cards, like let's say a mirror match or whatever. Then I like starting on the creature. Let's see if Doomwake agrees.
All right, starting off with a fetch. Imagine we're going to go. Yep, we're going to take the full 3 points of damage, and we're going to start with the Ocelot. So the cat is going to enter the battlefield first.
Okay, so there's a little bit of risk when it comes to that. It looks like it's not that bad against this hand. And Doomwake can start attacking with his creature 1 turn earlier. So if you kind of dodge, let's say Rebel develops Shuko here and had double Nadu in hand or something, that would be a kind of a punish for not playing out the Thoughtseize. But yeah, Doomwake, I'm sure he thought it through and will feel clever now.
If you look at this hand, no second land for Rebels. So maybe if we did fire off that Thoughtseize turn 1 and we're able to take the Springleaf Drum, we could have kind of really shut down the resources on the other side. But the way that, that's not how the cookie is going to crumble in this matchup. Doom's decided to go for the more aggressive line. Now with this Thoughtseize on the stack, what do you like taking?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would take, so usually I'm kind of I'm looking at this long term, so I would imagine it's something like Thoughtcast. Okay, Doomwake goes for the Galvanic Blast, which is also a reasonable pick. Redundant Shuko here doesn't exactly help much. So it looks like we can go Tamiyo Shuko here. That's okay. Develop some artifact stuff, and then next turn go Frogmite Thoughtcast. That's okay.
Yeah, but I say that I like that. It looks like we're kind of setting up for another turn. I don't think this Tamiyo is going to be living for much longer, as we see end the turn crack our fetch land. Definitely let's get a mountain here so the arena comes into play untapped if you want to use it later on. Here comes Discharge. We're going to use free energy to get that off the battlefield and untap into another Aether Hub. But this is kind of one of the great things about Fable the Mirror Breaker, right? When you start getting flooded a little bit too much, well, good old Fable is going to sort that out for you.
I was about to say that no matter what Doomwake draws here, the Fable's going to make sure that it's just fine. That's why I really like that card. It kind of gives non-blue decks an effect that they haven't had for a long time, and here it's just such good security against flooding out and drawing too many lands.
Second Tamiyo is going to come down here.
So it looks like we can go Shuko and a free Frogmite here.
No, we're one off the free.
No,
Yeah, we're one off the Frogmite.
you're right. No Frogmite.
But we can make the Tameo 2-3. Sure. I'm okay with that. One to be aware of, D00mwake is 2 permanents away from getting the city's blessing at this point, as it looks like we're going to go fetch land into the graveyard as well as one of these Ava hubs. Flage is the draw that we find, as well as another fetch. So casting Flage now, getting a Tameo off the battlefield, turn everything sideways. Next turn, return that Flage from the graveyard. Yeah, this isn't looking good for Rebel.
No, especially because of that Arena of Glory that I misread in the match I just played. But that is going to grant haste to that Flage next turn.
Yeah.
Which is a devastating play.
Sign me up. Sign me up. Obviously, I got that wrong earlier on when we were casting. You definitely do have to put a mana into it. I thought you just like exert it and add 2. I thought the card was absolutely broken.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well.
No, definitely have to put a mana into it here. But yeah, giving that Flage from the graveyard the ability to also attack, which means double triggers in one turn. While Rebels missing land drops, only at 10 life. Doom's got a board state, got the city's blessing. This is going to be an uphill battle if I've ever seen one. Fort cast for 1 mana, draw 2. Yeah, find another one plus the Fort Mentor. And how much damage you got on the other side? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus Flage. Oh, yeah, this isn't looking good.
Yeah, Flage is just 6 on its own, and if it clears the way by killing the blocker, it's even more. So,
and yeah, just for good measure, let's get another card in that graveyard. Let's get that land off the top of our deck into it so we can draw something like one of our best sideboard cards in this matchup, a Wear and Tear, but we're not going to need it. We're going to see this Flage coming out of the graveyard, all nice and hastied up. 3 damage. I imagine first 3 damage goes to the Frogmite, second 3 damage goes to face, as well as the 6 damage from the huge Titan. Why are all these Titans so good? I love it.
Yeah, I actually really like the design on all of them. And yeah, when I saw this card, I wasn't like super impressed, but it turned out to be like just one of the best cards in the set, hands down.
Oh, yeah. Mason is going to be so happy about that. Of course, we'll be seeing him next week long. D00mwake, though, he's going to be taking this game down and advancing. So one, we'll get the player out in our last match of the day.